interest to you. What I've done here is I've created a list of salespeople and the car model that they sold. In this case, it's an example of Fords, and the price that each one sold for. These are just fictitious numbers. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and make this into a table. And how I do that, I do insert, table, and it automatically selects my whole table range. And then I have the box checked here. My table has headers, and which it does, so I'm going to say OK. And I did this for a reason, and I'm going to show you why in 1 minute. So when we want to create a pivot table, okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back into insert, and I'm going to insert a pivot table. And you can see what happened. It defaulted to table 1, which is this existing table. So the whole reason to make this into a table is it gives you a lot more flexibility. Rather than manually selecting this whole gigantic range of cells, I can just select the table. Now if I come and I remove 50 sales, I add 500 sales, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be able to just select that table number 1 here. Then the next thing, you can do this. By the way, you can use external data for this. You can choose a connection. I'm going to walk you through pulling it from the spreadsheet though. So another thing you can do, or what you want to do here, most likely, this is what I recommend typically, is where do you want your pivot table to be placed? You can put it in a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. I like to do a new worksheet just because it keeps it nice and clean. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK for a new worksheet, and there you see it created a new worksheet, and here's my pivot table information. So you can do numerous things with this data. So I'm going to give you an example. I can go over here and I can choose model and price, and then what this does over here, it gives me the sum of all the CMAXs came to 360,000 in sales. Escapes 108,000. So, but I can go over here as an example. You can see this, put it in values. So I can go over here and I can click that right. I can click on that down arrow there. It'll pop up your options here. I can say value field settings, and I can go over here and say count, and that'll show me the number of vehicles sold. So 15 Expeditions, 42 Explorers, 80 F-150s. Another thing you can do here, there's several options here. I can go back in here and I can do the average price as an example. Okay, and so there's the average price of each vehicle. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just add a few other things. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to back to the count, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the last name. Okay, and you can see CMAX, these are the last names of the salespeople that sold them. And then you can organize this in different ways. I could move model over here as an example, and I could see last name August, sold 1 Expedition, 6 F-150s, 1 Focus, 1 Fusion, 1 Fusion Hybrid. So you can do numerous things with the data. I just wanted to share with you a couple of those options. The other thing that's nice in here is when you go into insert again, let me go back to the sheet where I have my table. I'm going to go into insert recommended pivot tables, which gives you several options here. So here's some good examples. Count of price by model, so we did that same one. Sum of price by model, count of price by first name. So you can go in there. If I said OK, I could go in here and I could modify this, and I could change this to last name or add another name. So another thing that you can do, going back to look at this, the pivot table that we worked on before, we can go over here, and if we had a big promotion on Mustangs as an example, we can go over here and do column labels, and we can unselect everything by clicking that box there, the select all box, and going down and just choosing Mustang, and now you see we can find the salespeople that sold that 1 Mustang. So you can customize it any way you would like here. So I'm going to go ahead and select them all again, and I can also do this. I can go to row labels, and I can just show certain salespeople if I would like to. So you can get very creative here. The other thing that I wanted to let you know is that when you go over here and edit this data, and you, let's say you edit the price of this, this Escape and this F-150 and so forth, and you go in and you add some sales, these pivot tables do not dynamically update, so you have to rerun those pivot tables. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that, and I think that's all I wanted to share with you. Thanks for joining, and please subscribe. Take care.